So sometimes companies say or are afraid of consultant because they say, oh, it's too easy to come and see, oh, this is good and this is bad. And actually, this is not what we are doing as a consultant. It's just to know what we have.
And it sounds crucial. If you don't get this bit right, then of course the strategy becomes meaningless, really. And if you're not working on the right issue, or you haven't agreed what the problem is, you can't address it. So talk us through, if you would, a strategy, if it's possible to do that. Maybe, I don't know if there's an example of one that you've done. And I know we have to respect confidentiality, so I'm aware of that. But I think it would be really helpful for people to understand perhaps the framework or an example of what you may have done.
Yeah, well, I like to customize always the project. So for me, there are not the same project. Every project is different, even if it's a project for the strategic planning in different companies. Every project is different. I have different frameworks for the strategic planning. Okay, there are many. I mean, there are many books, the academic, many resources, methodologies that you can use. But for me, the most important of all of the frameworks and the methodologies is that in the end, it needs to be a participative process. When I start to work as a consultant, like 10 years ago, sometimes those processes of strategic planning were very, not really participative with the client. Like the consultant take a bunch of information for the company, have some meeting with just the CEO, the director, the board member, and then they decide the strategy for the company. Now, I have to say that it's important, the participation and the co-creation with everybody. So I'm trying to planning sessions to work with the client, like in the high level with the CEO, the directors, but also for me in the last year, it has been essential to also work with everybody in the company, with the project manager, with the sales people, with everybody that is involved in the business, with everybody that is involved with their client also.
So I think what I'm hearing, and please tell me if I haven't got this right, is it's not so much about a typical we do A, B, C, D, as a simple process, but you really, every time you're working with an organization, you're creating a unique strategy. Would that be right?
Yes.
So you don't have a simple process, but you're really looking at it with the client with the view to getting it right at the end.
Exactly.
So there's no easy answer to it, but you get in the end. So the diagnostic process clearly vital, and then between you, it's a collaborative process. Is that right?
Yeah, completely. Is that right? So maybe the big steps are the same, that is the diagnostic, that is the analysis, a process to brainstorming, and then get the ideas in a plan, in a roadmap, and make a plan for implementation. Maybe those are like the big steps. But inside of every of that step, for every company, the process and the journey, it could be very different.
Yeah.
So I adapt all the process, the activities that we are doing do the diagnostic, the activities that we are doing for identify the drivers, for see what are the main goals, what we will be, the mission, the vision. All that activities will be different for every company because every company needs different things. For example, there are some companies that are smaller than other.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that about size. Is there any sort of minimum and maximum, or?
Yeah, no, it's not about minimum and maximum. This is the important thing why we adapt the process for every company, because actually, well, if we have a company that have small size, because there are small size, I mean, of people, because maybe have a big revenue, but just, I don't know, 10%. Okay, it's very different than the process that you need to do with a company that maybe have the same profit, but they are 100 people. Okay, so you have to do a strategic planning in any case. It's only that probably the process when you are involving more people, maybe it's going to be longer because you need more iteration, you need more discussion, because you need to be sure that you are taking the point of view of everybody. It's important to listen. Sometimes for a consultant, it's more important to listen than talk.
Well, I thought I knew about what you did, but I've learned something today as well. So nobody really should be put off from at least talking to you or talking to Origin if they think they may be too big or too small. It sounds as though that's not the real question.
Yes.
The real question is about, what are they stuck with? And they should talk at least to find out how you could help them, is what I'm hearing. What I've loved listening to you, because I'm aware we haven't got an awful lot longer, I could talk to you all day, is that I love your passion for what you do. I can hear it. I think people can see it if they're looking at you. What's your vision? I'm putting you on the spot, but what do you want to be changed? That, and partly why you're with Origin, of course, is it's about change.
Well, I think that I just actually I have been traveling a lot, knowing different business, different people, and in the end, well, this is actually not in the end, it's now, because you never know, the people are changing mind, but for now, for me, it's very important to do something that I feel that I am making a contribution in this society. I think that I have been a lucky person. I have had many opportunities in my life for study, for traveling, for important and good people that have taught me many things. So I think it's not that I feel that I know a lot of things, but I just want to feel that I am giving some impact for others too.
Okay.
So if with my job, if for me it's important that to feel that my job is helping to do this work better work,
Well, I know you're already making a difference, and long may it continue. And I'm sure there are a lot of questions that may have come up, but you've given us a really good flavour, I think, of how dedicated and committed you are to helping resolve a problem. So I'm glad you didn't allow me to steer you down a nice, easy template for how you do a strategy, because there really isn't one from what I'm hearing. You really develop it each time. So, Vjeruska, any last thoughts before we end this conversation? What's next for you?
No, to be honest, I feel pretty good. I was nervous, especially, because my English is not my first language. So, but no, I feel very good. Thank you for the opportunity, Shelley. Thank you for the questions. And thank you for being yourself too.
Well, it's been a pleasure. And if people want to contact you, they can do it through the Origin website.
Sure.
Sure. Vjeruska, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure for me, Shelley. Thank you for everything. You make me feel very comfortable.